Londres.
There can be no democratic choice against the European treaties. So said Jean-Claude Juncker, the President of the European Commission, before the recent Greek election, and by God, he meant it. There can be no democratic choice against the European treaties. 61% of Greek voters just said no to the bailout and borrow deal imposed by Brussels. And the result? They've had that deal imposed on them anyway, plus a little bit extra. As one of the Eurozone finance ministers admitted in a tweet, which he later deleted, the terms of the deal had been deliberately made worse in order to punish Greece for having voted against Brussels in its referendum. There can be no democratic choice against the European treaties. This isn't the first time. In Denmark in 1992, in Ireland in 2001, in France and then the Netherlands in 2005, then in Ireland again in 2008, people voted no only to have their democratic verdict swatted aside by Brussels and the thing that they had voted against imposed on them anyway. No never quite means no in Brussels. They won't take no for an answer. Now, they justify this to themselves by saying that the common people, as one of the finance ministers put it, the common people don't understand these complicated issues, and therefore we should entrust the experts to come out with economic policies that we need. Well, you know, at the risk of stating the obvious, how's that working out with the euro? The euro wasn't a project of ordinary citizens. It was imposed on the peoples of Europe by their elites. And look at what the consequences have been. Have a look at this graph. Now, there isn't a total correlation between Eurozone membership and economic lack of growth, but there is enough of a correlation to question the wisdom of those who tell us that they know best for us. This isn't about the EU bailing out Greece. Greece has suffered a 26% decline of real GDP. It has more than half its young people unemployed. And as all sides admit, there will be more recessionary implications as a result of this deal. You don't help a country in a downturn by forcing it to raise its taxes. And you certainly don't help a country as indebted as Greece by pushing more loans onto it. This isn't about the Eurozone bailing out Greece. This is about Greek taxpayers bailing out the Eurozone, and by implication, the European banking system, because the authors of the euro cannot bring themselves to admit that they've made a mistake. And so they will rather impose poverty and emigration and immiseration on the people not only of Greece, but of large chunks of southern Europe. And they will rather impose endless IOUs and tax rises on the people of northern Europe than accept that the euro was an error or accept that their project might be reversible. It's not just prosperity that Greece has given up. It's democracy too. A people whose ancestors were casting differently coloured pebbles into voting urns while the fathers of the rest of us were grubbing around in the cold soil of pre-Roman Europe have now seen their right to self-government ground into the dirt. That's where the European project leads. You're not allowed to dissent. And that's why all of us, not only Greeks, have a vested interest in standing up for the democratic right of all nations against this Brussels bureaucracy. What part of no don't they understand?